welcome to this special bonus announcement episode thing of the 10 Laws with East Forest podcast. I'm East Forest. I want to let you know briefly that tomorrow, which at this point is March 21st, Saturday night, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do an East Forest ceremony, but live stream it on YouTube. So it's going to be a live YouTube thing. I'm going to play, my intention at least, I'm taking a big leap here because I've never done this. I'm on my own with the technical side of things, as we all have to be alone. But that's kind of the point. I want to try to make this work, and I've been trying to find ways to get pretty good audio fidelity out to you in a live way where I can play for several hours, is my hope, in the style of my Music for Mushrooms album. So that means it's a guided, connected journey that if you want to drop into it in a very intentional and deep way, I will be there. At least my hope, my intention is with the music to guide you through that. And so it's a little different than my concerts. And the East Forest ceremony, when I've been doing them publicly, is a mixture of kind of a concert and a ceremony. I've always been saying that, but this one's really a ceremony. And I do it in an improvised fashion because that's how I've always done the medicine circles. It's just a way of hopefully something larger speaking through me, at least at times. It comes in waves. And it's much more ambient and peaceful. I mean, it's just like what you hear on the Music for Mushrooms record. Similarly, on the Prana record, Crystal Starship, Music to Die To, Music to Be Born To, those are all created in the same fashion from medicine circles. So I'm not there with you in person. I'm just there with the music and with some energy. So please be responsible. Please be smart. But this is an opportunity to dive in, just to relax, just a time to put things aside, because God knows we really need it right now. And there's something special about a live event like that because, all of us who can join in from wherever we are around the world, whether you're in Australia or the United States or Canada, or all the other points of this planet where we have pockets of listeners in our community, we get to do it at the same time. What's crazy right now is that so many people on the planet are thinking about the same thing at once. And I think we're sensing that collective field right now. And it's a lot of it is tension and fear, and the energy of those thought patterns just feel like they're creating a density that I think we can all feel. And so it's important to tap in like I know this is a small event, but like an acupuncture needle. We can join together and put our energies into something else, into presence, into our hearts, into our intuitive knowing, and as we do with other ceremonies, to clear away the noise so that we can hear that which is always there, the knowing of our being, the knowing of ourselves. And because it's the spring equinox yesterday, this is a time traditionally of planting seeds, planting choices into your life. And what better time than a time where there's upheaval, where all the soil has been turned over in our life. And now it's like, what do I want to plant as we're moving forward, as I walk through the challenge of this situation? I know we're all feeling it differently than others. First I should just say, if you want to watch that live stream, I think you can go to eastforest.org, and I've embedded the player on my website on the bottom of the homepage. But if that doesn't work, I would recommend going to youtube.com/eastforestmusic, all one word, youtube.com/eastforestmusic. And I also think, I haven't done this before, that the live stream should appear on my channel. Last resort would be search for it, dig around, but it'll be out there. I'm gonna make it public. So I was just saying that I know we're all feeling this in different ways, and for myself, I'm guessing it's like many of you, where I vacillate. I go in waves. Last night I had a tough night. Nighttime is often hard for me, and I've been going through other changes have been happening simultaneously for me on the business end, and my partner Rada had to close her business, and for both of us, our income streams have kind of slowed dramatically. The foreseeable future is like that. We don't, for someone like myself, I don't know when I'm going to be able to tour again. I mean, people are thinking about the fall, but my gut is telling me, I don't know. I really don't, And this whole social distancing, I'm taking it quite assiduously, but others aren't. And I don't know how it's going to work if it's a kind of a piecemeal plan, nor do I know how it's going to work. Look, it's one thing. I'm on day 6 or 7 or maybe 5 of like helping the kids be homeschooled here as my part-time stepdad role. So we're basically all cooped up in this house, and amidst all the other things that are going on, man, it is tough at times. It really is, to keep my cool and to bring grace to the table. And there are times where I falter. And all I can do is to recognize it, to witness it, and to love those experiences of falling into the fear and forgetting, because pushing them away isn't going to help. And my humanity is just that. It's my humanity. Like all of us, we have the aspects of the front of our being that is like the filter that our soul works with the world in. And sometimes we're here to be pressing up some kind of friction or challenge. That is the grist for the mill. And right now, we're all brave souls who are pressing up against a large collective friction. But this obstacle that we're working against, it fits into our individual lives uniquely and perfectly in ways we can't see. And you don't need to figure it out right now. I can't figure it all out right now. All we need to do is bring as much presence as we can and some bravery. Some bravery, some courage. The courage to say, we can do this. We can do this. And cultivating that inner fortitude, your connection to who you are and the truth inside you, and the part of you that knows deep down, even if maybe you can't feel it or see it right now, you know deep down it's okay. I'm sorry if that triggers you when you hear that, but I'm going to hold that truth for you, even if it's just a candle flame for myself right now and not a large fire. But that meditation that I released a few days ago, it's a couple episodes back on this podcast, it's speaking to that, and it's there to help you cultivate that. So I'm going to try and release more of these things, meditations. If this live stream is successful and it feels good for everyone, I'm going to do more. And I don't know if it'll continue to be on YouTube or Twitch or Instagram or Facebook or all the above. I don't know. I'm figuring this out as I go along, and I'm working to figure out other forms of connecting with you, being of service to myself and to the community and to the planet, and to continue to try to make a livelihood so that I can survive and also continue to be East Forest. But I also know these things take time, and I have to have the patience to allow it to emerge. It's only been really a week here in the U.S. and the world, I'd say, in some ways, not counting the places that have been going through this for a while, where we've had like major collective shifts on the planet. But we're being asked to pause. We're being forced to pause. And I sense a resistance in myself to kind of forge ahead and find solutions like the live stream. And I noticed that. And I noticed that there's a not knowing that just exists. And that is a hard thing to sit with. It always is in our lives. And I think when we're in our normal state of operation here on planet Earth, we feel like we know what's coming up. We feel like we have this sense of control when, of course, we actually don't, right? We never know what's going to happen during the day or the next moment or all the things we don't have control over. But there's a belief that we have some kind of control, and we have comfort in that. And right now, slapped in front of our face is this unknowing of, is this going to last a few weeks? I can tell you it's not, but even the idea that we're like, okay, this is probably going to be circulating in one form or another for a year and a half, pretty much until there's a vaccine that's created, which everyone's saying that's going to be up to 18 months, it's looking like. And in the meantime, I don't know how, just being honest with you, I don't know how like this kind of extreme social distancing is going to be possible or sustainable for a lot of people, because I'm sure they're thinking after a week, 2, 3, 4, they're like, I can't, I need a way to make money to put food on the table. I have to work if I'm going to be buying more diapers for my baby. I don't have the money to buy 3 weeks of diapers right now, if I can even find them. So the kind of solutions we need are systemic. And obviously we have a leadership vacuum from the top down. So we're seeing it from the bottom up to say, how can I help my neighbors? Just the people I know. How can I check in with them? What resources do I have to share? And karmically, people will help me too. But this crisis is exposing the social holes that we have in our society. Anything from, craziness of you want to be tested or you're sick and you don't even have health care. You're not like, well, or do I have to pay for this? I can't. I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars to go get tested. Even if I did, how does that even work? So the brokenness of our medical system, or the kids who eat lunch at school and that's their one main meal of the day, and now school's closed. And it's like, how are we going to feed those kids? There's no system set up to do it. We need to do this now on an extreme local level. Like, who do I know that's in need? How can I just help that one person, 2 people, 5 people? There's so many things that are exposed like that, and I suppose that is a blessing because it puts it to the fore. But I mean, who the hell ever would have thought that Donald Trump will be standing on a lectern espousing an idea to give every American $1,000 when just a couple weeks ago, that was one of the most progressive ideas out there from Andrew Yang that people kind of laughed at, universal basic income in a nutshell. And now, all of a sudden, the far right guy is saying, we're considering doing this, as if like, I mean, I'm glad they're thinking up these things. I don't think sending $500 or $1,000 in one payment is going to move the needle on this, but it's the right attitude. And I can understand people's anger. Sorry about this rant here, but you can tune out now if you don't want to hear it. I just want to let you know about the live stream on March 21st, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, look, it's a time, I know that's just hard. And my point is that there's so much unknown. We can't know how this is all going to play out. And that can be tough because our mind can go to all the different extremes of what it could be. But it's true. There could be all these different things that could happen. But in that, let's remember there's infinite possibilities. That's a fact. Anything could happen. So it's also quite possible, there could be decrease in polarization. There's sort of an amelioration of this idea of us versus them. It's like, wow, we're kind of in this. Or there's more like faith in some of these institutions that we really need, and we shore them up in different ways. Or we find technological ways like live streaming or podcasting or all sorts of technologies we haven't even developed yet as a way of helping to solve some of these problems. Because it's, in some ways, it feels like COVID-19 is a kind of symptom of some kind of unconscious asleepness. It's revealing the interconnectedness in a way we can't ignore, that we've known about, but maybe we haven't put as much attention on as need be. The way we're all human beings on this planet, we've created this network of information and global supply chains, and we're in it together. So we might as well get together. Now, I hope that's not too pie in the sky, but I see these energies emerging simultaneously. And that's how it always works in the universe. When there's an upwelling of a kind of chaos, there's an upwelling of a kind of order simultaneously. Just like when you see the awareness about the climate crisis, you also see this upwelling of the resistance against it. In some ways, everything going on with Trump, there's an equal but opposite reaction happening. And not to say it always balances itself out that way, but it's to remember that there is a silver lining, and even if we can't see it or feel it, and I don't know what it is. And that doesn't discount the challenges and the extreme problems that we're facing. From what I'm hearing, and look, I'm not the expert or an epidemiologist on this, they're trying to, slow this down so we don't overwhelm hospitals. But that kind of means that our fate is that we can't stop it from spreading around. It's just how long that will take. And if it takes a year or two, that's tough. It's tough that, it needs to kind of run its course. Unless we just come up with a vaccine, but by then maybe it's run its course. And that's a tough future to be looking at. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just the flu. You get the flu. Well, this flu is 10 times more deadly than the normal influenza. And moreover, at the scale, even though it's maybe not that many people who get it, if you think about it, per population, it would cause enough death that all of us would probably know someone who has died, if not a couple people. That's a big deal. And nobody wants that. And nobody wants that kind of suffering for anyone. I don't wish the suffering on anyone. Let alone, I think, the secondary impact, if for most of us, perhaps the larger impact, is the economic and social impact. And the stress that it could be putting on your body. I know it's putting it on my body. My stomach has been in knots. I've been getting headaches. And these are just things that are like latent results of perhaps digesting this news, digesting this density of information, this density of energy of our collective focus on a new crisis that's upended our lives. So it's the spring equinox, and let's acknowledge that that is a time of transition and change and planting seeds, of making choices, a kind of new beginning. And not only a week ago, for most of us, we went through a huge shift, huge, seismic. I'm just acknowledging that, to cut myself some goddamn slack. And you too, to be like, man, this is heavy duty, and it's okay for you to slip up. It's okay for you to be concerned sometimes. It's okay for you to not know, because we are facing a lot of unknown. And we always do. And you've done it before. You just chose to believe you did know. And so continue to come back into the present moment, because with your breath, just being here now, because that is all there is. And spinning out all the possibilities on some level is fruitless. It's good to prepare. There's a saying, like an Arabic saying, something to the effect of like, give all to Allah, but tie up your camel. Something like that. We need to tie up our camel. You still got to do that. You still got to chop the wood and carry the water. So on one level, you can focus on that, and it's good to do what you can to be smart. Use your street smarts, and it's always good to have extra food if you can. And I know that's a little challenging right now, but I don't think toilet paper is maybe the priority. As a matter of fact, I've heard from multiple people, so I don't know if this is true, but someone here outside Boise did an armed robbery for toilet paper. There's an insanity to that. Can you imagine facing 25 years in jail because you need toilet paper? That person obviously has not been to India or Asia, where they know about how you can use your left hand, but I don't know. I have other priorities. I think food would be a priority, or water. But someone else said there was a meme that the climate crisis should hire the publicist of COVID-19. Haha. Got to have a little bit of a sense of humor about this. So we're in this together. I will continue to give you my thoughts in bonus episodes when it feels appropriate or when it helps me. You guys can tune in if you like. I still have a lot of interviews that I banked up, or conversations, I should say, with some really great folks that I'm going to continue to release on the weekly basis. I try to release the podcast on Tuesdays. And the good news is there's been cooler and more and more amazing people who have been coming on the podcast. And so we're not always talking about the coronavirus, which I don't know if that's good or bad for you, but I sometimes will talk about it in the intro because I always just talk about whatever's going on currently. That's more of the recent events, and then the episodes are a bit more evergreen, but sometimes it has been coming up. But anyway, there is some good stuff there and some good information to come out, so I'm excited to share. And I'm always looking for more women. Just so you know, I'm actively reaching out to female guests. I don't know if it's been a weird balance thing, but I've had more men who've said yes lately that I've actually recorded, but I do think about that, and I do think about representing all colors of the spectrum on the podcast. But at the end of the day, I just want to put out good ideas, good stories, and it pans out as it's been panning out. And I appreciate you guys listening and sharing the podcast, giving it a review. There's always a couple more after each episode, and that always helps me get new guests. You can do it now on Apple Podcasts. Give it a 5-star review. You can do that multiple times. You can give a written review. You don't have to, but that is nice. I read them, and other people read them. It helps them say, hey, I'll check this out. And we're building what I hope is a new story together, walking each other home, as Ram Dass would say. So I'm going to leave it there. If you want to check out the live stream, please do. If you're listening to this on Friday, March 20th, by the way, you can go over to Bandcamp, which is where I sell my music and my merch off my website, and they're waiving the fees for artists today. So if you buy a ceremony box, which are on sale, or perfume oils, or any vinyl, or any downloaded music, if you want to gift it to someone, it helps me out, and it'll help me out even more today because they're waiving those fees. So that's a small thing if you'd like to do that. And I have more ideas, but I'm going to sit with them more before I start blathering and announcing them. So on that note, you guys keep walking your walk. Don't take any shit, but if you do, bring as much grace as you can.